Hello everyone. Now this video is a part of the series of a video which I posted a couple of days back. I'll post the link of that video here. Now that video was about the 10 common mistakes that startup entrepreneurs commit. Now in this video, I'm going to highlight 10 common mistakes that startup entrepreneurs, why only startup entrepreneurs? Even established entrepreneurs commit when it comes to handling human resources. So without any further delay, let's start having a look at these common 10 mistakes. Mistake number 1, not listening to others. What I have seen is the higher a person rises above the corporate ladder, the more he has to sacrifice his ego. So as you grow up as a businessman, you have to sacrifice your ego at every step because you need to cultivate the habit of listening to other people's views. But at the end of the day, you have to take your own decision because you are the leader. You are the one who's giving shape to the organization's vision. So finally, the buck stops at your table. So you have to take the decision. But at the same time, you have to learn how to take in other people's views and respect those views. You have to put yourself in their shoes and look at things from their perspective to appreciate their views. So this is a skill which you've got to develop. When you enter into a discussion, don't enter into a discussion with a closed mind, saying that my decision has already been made, but this is just a formality. No, don't do that. Enter into any discussion with an open mind and be open to receive all kind of opinion and views. Some of them could be in your support and some of them could be criticizing your moves. Absorb all of it in. Then analyze and take your decision. So the first mistake that you should avoid is not listening to others. Mistake number 3, not being open to change, especially when it's an advice or a view which is being given by your employee. Now this follows from the first mistake which I did. See, as a businessman, you have to be focused. But at the same time, you have to be ready to change your views. And even if the view is coming from someone down below your organization chain, you've got to be ready to change your views. There is absolutely no harm in that. In fact, if you do that, your people will start respecting you more because they know that their views are also being respected and being taken into account. So if you are wrong, please do accept it and also be open enough to accept your employees' views irrespective of which part of the organization chain it comes from. This will tremendously improve your image amongst your employees and it will also give a feeling to the employee that he is being appreciated and his views are being taken into account. Mistake number 3, micromanaging things. See, as a business leader, you need to be focused on the macro aspect of the business. You need to be having a helicopter view of the entire business. But at the same time, you should be aware of what is happening at the ground level. You can't lose touch with the ground realities. There is a difference in being keyed into the details of a business and in micromanaging. Be keyed into the details of the business, but don't micromanage. Hire people to do the manageable things. Right? You hire trustworthy people to get these things done, but at the same time, do monitor their efforts and give them guidance as and when necessary. So do not get into the concept of counting pennies, but don't lose track of where your pennies are going. Right? So do not micromanage. Let people do their job that they have been assigned, they will also feel empowered. It might be a small job, but in its own way, it is empowering that particular person with that particular skill. So let him do his job properly. Of course, as a business leader, it's your job to monitor his performance. So do not micromanage. Mistake number 4, not being accessible to employees. See, I have often seen this. As a businessman grows in stature, his access to his employees becomes lesser and lesser. Well, I can understand the fact that as a businessman grows bigger in stature, he has a lot of things to manage. So you can't really expect him to interact on a daily basis with all of his employees. Fine, that is acceptable. But your direct reports and maybe the people below them, in case of requirement, they should be in a position to access you. Again, this gives them a sense of belonging. If they are able to access you directly, it makes them feel that they belong to the organization. But if you have multiple layers built and people cannot readily access you, then remember, they lose their connect with you. Then they are not working for you. They are just working for their salary. And there is a big difference in that. So now you have to maybe devote one day in a month or possibly once in 2 months where you are readily accessible to everyone, where everyone can come and possibly discuss any opinions or views or any problems that they are facing within the organization. And therefore they get an opportunity to interact with you. And understand, as a business head, you have a lot of exposure. So possibly their interaction with you could help them in learn something and maybe help them in developing as an individual better. Now, in this context, I would say that one should adopt what I call as a management by walking around. Even if you can't devote one specific day, just walk around your organization. Just take a stroll and just say hello to anyone who comes across and just ask him what is his name, what is he doing, how does he think the company is doing, is he facing any problem. Just have a chit chat with him. You know, that guy will feel so happy about talking to you, and maybe that way you might be able to come across a few facts which you sitting in your ivory tower may otherwise never come to know. Do take a stroll once a week, once a month. Talk to random people who are within your organization. Ask them about their well-being, their health, their working environment, or if they are facing any particular problems. Do that. It will go a long way in improving your relationship with your colleagues, peers, and employees. Mistake number 5, lack of communication. Now, this is perhaps one of the most chronic ailment that I've come across organizations of various sizes. Communication is the key to a good job environment. Whether it is good news or bad news, communicate it to the employees, because if you don't communicate it to them, then there is obviously going to be a lot of gossiping, rumor monging and speculating. And this gossiping or speculating could instill a sense of insecurity to some of the employees, especially the new ones who have joined in. So whether it is a good news or whether it is the bad news, like say a competitor strategy which has hurt your business, or maybe it is resignation of a few key employees, whatever it is, communicate to your employees. Tell them that they are in good hands, that they are, or the reason behind whatever that has happened, and what is going to be your strategy going ahead. So please communicate to the employees, because then the employees also do not have the need to speculate and double think, because the speculation is going to give a lot of stress to them, apart from wasting their time on such things when they could be productively employed somewhere. Now, obviously, as a businessman, you can't divulge everything. There are going to be certain sensitive information which you can't divulge. Fair enough. Don't divulge all that. But the other things, whatever that can be communicated to employees, do communicate to them at periodical intervals. And these communications, as far as possible, should not be a one-way communication. It should be more of an interaction where first you communicate your views, then you analyze the impact, and then ask the employees that, having now known the news from the horse's mouth and having known the strategy to deal with that situation, do they have any further doubts regarding that? Ask them to clear whatever misgivings that they may have. So this kind of communication, this kind of two-way communication sets the right mood for the employees. And one of the things which I have seen is, as the organization grows bigger, this communication channel becomes weaker and weaker, to the extent that at certain point communication is restricted only to certain kind of notification, like tomorrow is a holiday. That's all the communication that happens between the top level and the management, right? Or the other kind of communication that is possibly given is, starting from next month your salary will be cut by 10%. That is not the only communication that should be had. Any good news, any positive news, any negative news, whatever it is, please communicate it to the employees, explain it to them, involve them in the whole process. That way they will get a feeling of inclusiveness, and that improves the morale of the employees to a great deal. Mistake number 6, don't hide your wrong decisions or failures. If you as a leader of a company has taken certain decisions and which have not worked out exactly the way you wanted them to work out, come forward, accept it. That gives an image of yours to the employees that you are also a human being. You can also fail. Because what happens is, a lot of time the employees are always scared of failure. One should not be scared of failures. Yes, one should be careful about failures, but one should not be scared of failures, because unless and until you face failures, you will never come across success, or you will never learn something. This is always a mantra which I have kept repeating time and again. You commit mistakes, only then you will learn. You fall, you get up, you fall, you get up. That's a whole process. So the employees should not be scared of failures, because if they get scared of failures, then they will stop trying to be innovative, and that is to your detriment as a business leader. In fact, you should encourage them to innovate and to improve, and give them the reassurance that, look boss, don't be scared of failure. Yes, before taking any steps, obviously one should take reasonable due diligence steps. But having taken those, one should not be scared of failure. So you must be the one who should be motivating them to try, innovate, improve, and tell them, look boss, don't be scared of failure. See what happened with this decision of mine. Even I failed. So even things which I decide go wrong sometimes. And that happens to everyone. The moment you say that, employees get a sense of reassurance. They are now no longer scared to innovate, to develop new ideas. And this is, remember, is going to benefit your business. And if they succeed as a business leader, you are possibly going to be the happiest one, laughing all the way to the bank. So encourage them to try to innovate and remove the fear of failure from their mind. As a leader, this is your responsibility to your employees. Mistake number 7. Please respect the personal time of the employees. Now, this is a universal problem, and I think that this is more a problem in India. I've seen the situation in European and other countries. There it is not so. There everyone respects the other person's personal time, but in India, people just don't seem to respect the personal time of the employee. Please remember, an employee is rendering his professional services to you during the course of the business hours. Beyond those business hours, it is his time which he is entitled to spend with his family, go for a picnic, go for a movie, go for a couple of drinks with his friend. That is his time. Please do not intrude on that personal time. I mean, as a business leader, you do not like when a employee is doing his personal job during the office hours, do you? So in the same way, why should he do a professional assignment during his personal time? If you have to communicate something to him during his personal time, please have the courtesy of asking for his permission. Yes, this might sound strange. You are the boss, you are the employer. That doesn't matter. If you are intruding on his personal time, you've got to take his approval. Send him a message. Is this the right time? I need to discuss something important with you. Of course, this should be more an exception rather than the rule. You can't be talking important to him every day. Then obviously something is going wrong in your day planning in the office. Ask for his permission or request him to call back whenever he is free. Please do not be under the impression that you own him 24/7. You do not own him 24/7. You own him only for his professional life. So respect his personal time. Avoid calling employees for any official work after office hours. That is his time. Respect that. And this I find is sadly absent in India. In India, the employees think that they own the employee 24/7 since they are paying him. It is absolutely a wrong culture that is set in India. I mean, think of it. You ever try asking a European to work on Saturday, Sunday so that you can have a deliverable on Monday? 99% chances are that he's going to flatly refuse it on your face. He's going to tell you, no sir, I've got to take my son out for a game. But you tell that to a person in India, he will work on Saturday, Sundays and give it to you. Now, why should he do that? Why should he sacrifice his family life and personal life? Isn't that his personal time? Isn't that the time that he is supposed to be spending with his children and family? Why are we intruding into that space? So as a leader, please cultivate the culture unless and until it is absolutely essential, not disturbing anyone during the off business hours or the personal time. And that is one of the most critical mistake that you should avoid, and that will be hugely be appreciated by your employees, because they know that if it is Saturday, Sunday, then they don't have to worry about their professional engagement. They can spend their entire time, they can give their entire attention to their family. So please avoid the mistake of intruding into personal time. Mistake number 8. Well, this is a fallout of mistake number 7, being personal. Now, as an employer, have a personal touch with your employees. But like I said, don't intrude into personal space. You don't have to share your conversation with your girlfriend or the fight that you had with your wife to your employees. But yes, you can share a little bit of tidbit about your personal life to the employees, because again, they get a feeling of inclusiveness and they are also encouraged to bring out or voice their problems if they are facing anything in their personal life and which is affecting their professional life. If the employees do not know anything about the leader personally, then there is a kind of disconnect which happens. The organization then loses its human touch. I mean, as a business leader, I want to ask this question. As a business leader, so tomorrow if you are a business leader, how much of your precious time is it going to take for you to ask an employee how he spent his weekend? I mean, is it really going to take away too much of your time? It's not. So whenever you just walk across an employee, just ask him, how was his last weekend? Where is he planning for holidays? Just ask him, no? So you should be personal, but don't intrude into personal space and time. Mistake number 9, misunderstanding motivation. Most of the businessmen misunderstand or misinterpret as to what motivates a particular employee, they seem to have a common line of thought saying that it is money which motivates the employees. No, not always. As a person grows in seniority, remember, he has made enough money for himself, and at that particular stage of his life, it is not money which is a motivating factor for him. He's working more for the enjoyment, more for the pleasure, more for the dignity, more for the respect, more for the recognition. So a senior level guy, yes, money is an important driving factor for him, but it is not the only driving factor for him. Well, after a certain level or after a certain stage in life, people do not work for money, or I would rather not say people do not work for money. I would say that money is not the main motivating factor for them. So don't paint everyone with a same brush, saying that, oh, for everyone money is a motivating factor, so you throw him the money, he will work. Not everyone. Some of them will just throw the money right back at him. So, and these typically, usually are people who are at a very senior level. So senior level people have to be dealt with in a particular way, because for them money is not the motivating factor. They are looking much beyond money, and losing senior people could harm your business in a more immediate way than losing a junior staff. I mean, if a senior person or a senior team quits you, then understand it is going to impact your bottom line right from the next day. I can give it to you in writing. Or if, say, someone down the hierarchy chain quits, it might not affect your bottom line immediately. It could affect the morale, but it would not affect your bottom line. But senior team or senior people quitting could destroy your business overnight. So you've got to handle these people in a different way. So please understand what motivates these people. If it is respect, give them the respect. If it is innovation, give them the opportunity to innovate. If it is freedom, give them the freedom to operate. So whatever it is that motivates these people, give it to them. But what I'm trying to say is, please don't try to generalize saying that everyone is motivated by money. Like I said, yes, money is important for all, but that may not be the driving force for all. And understanding what motivates people will help you as a business leader to lead them better. And mistake number 10, being scared to fire people. A lot of entrepreneurs, and this is particularly true of startup entrepreneurs who have never had the opportunity to assume this kind of a role. A lot of these startup entrepreneurs are hesitant to fire people. They are somehow not comfortable with letting go. They are not comfortable in having this uncomfortable conversation, right? But then if a person doesn't have the right skill sets for the organization, or if he is not fitting into the whole organizational structure, then it is better that you let go of the employee, because it will work out to the benefit of both of you. You will of course be free of an employee who is not fitting into your vision, and the employee will obviously be able to find a better opportunity where his role or skills would be better utilized. So do not be scared of firing people. But then here, and this is something that I have mentioned in my earlier videos, that when you hire people, think 100 times, and when you fire people, think 1,000 times. Because if you have a hire and fire policy, it is going to affect your image, and it is going to affect the credibility of the company. So you should think carefully before hiring as well as before firing. But once you have taken the decision, act swiftly and do not hesitate to fire people if required. Although I know it's a very unpleasant decision to make, but if the push comes to a shove, then I guess one has to bite the bullet. Now these are 10 common mistakes which I have seen not only startup entrepreneurs but also established entrepreneurs commit when it comes to human resource management. Now that's all for this session. Stay fit, stay happy, Ciao.